Ken Trahan with LHSAA Executive Director Eddie Bonine. And Eddie, these are just your average days, man. Football season's getting ready to start. Volleyball will be here as well momentarily. So good times for the LHSAA overall.
It is, and August is always a busy time for us with the process of making sure all the athletes are eligible. Coaches going through all the rule clinics, all the stuff we do preliminarily, and anybody who has applied for eligibility, we're working on the eligibility. That portal is open now. So just trying to do all the house cleaning items we do now before everybody gets back. And I think this week or toward the end of this week, everybody will be back in school if not already started last week. So it's been busy around here, and we continue to do what we need to do to make sure everybody's eligible and ready to play.
Point of contention is, of course, the LSA, which was formed most recently. And, of course, they were charged with coming up with a plan and their own championship venues and such. And it took them a while to get to that point. They got to that point, and your issue with them, just to reiterate, isn't that they've done what they've done, but how they've done it, correct?
That is correct, and I'm glad to see that there's some motion there on their behalf of doing what they passed in January. It's just taken a while to get there, and I think that they're going the right direction with regards to trying to organize to make determination of if this case, venues. But I want to make it perfectly clear that at this particular juncture, what was passed in January is the venues have been chosen for them as they chose the highest home seeds for football, basketball, boys and girls, baseball, and softball for participation. So if there's going to be any sites other than those and they want to change that format, then they would have to come back to the annual convention to get that piece changed. So I think that's maybe where one of the discrepancies has been.
Just the tea leaves in the air. There's a reasonable to pretty decent chance that they won't be playing football games in the Superdome, correct?
There is, and with that said, this office, we sent out a communication recently to the select football schools, there's 71 of them, to see if there was still any interest of them participating this year in this year's Prep Classic. That portal is closed now, so we're in the process of going through those numbers to find out what the responses were, and I'll be getting that to my executive committee before the end of the week.
One of the things that you've been doing is polling student athletes, polling coaches, polling athletic directors with regard to the split and whether or not they are still either amenable to staying split, those that may have felt that way, or those that are against the split. And just to find out how the membership is, at least from a general perspective, what's been the response thus far?
The response to this point is option 2, which was stay the way we are, is not real popular. We'll have to go through and look at the numbers on the other 2, which would be bring everybody back together in some format or some classification look-alike like it did back in 2013 before the initial split for football, or have 2 complete separate entities of organization, meaning select schools in one and the LHSAA public, non-public schools, or public schools being the other. So we're working on that right now. It's a lot of information, a lot of surveys to go through, because we're going to separate those out by superintendents and diocesan superintendents and principals, select, non-select, coaches, which had the biggest response. To my knowledge, is the biggest response we got from all head coaches. There's in all the sports we have that are split, but just in general, all the coaches. We're talking about close to 4,500 or so head coaches in all the sports that we offer. So we're sorting through all of that now, and are going to work diligently this week and try to get some kind of numbers that we can present to our executive committee and eventually to the media.
Safe to assume that the kids would like to compete with each other. I think we all know that by and large. Coaches may be leaning toward that as well, and I'm just generalizing here, or maybe I'm just trying to get you to say something. Athletic directors, another entity altogether, but the reaction that you've gotten, would you say it's been surprising? Would you say it's been about what you expected? Would you say there's been some movement toward perhaps people saying, maybe we'll give this a second look and consider being together?
Yes. That's what you just said. Yes, it's been all of the above. Okay, really, it's been interesting to see results depending upon, and I've said this before to you and Ken and to others. Those who back in the day voted for select, non-select, said it was the worst thing they ever did. There's some that didn't vote for it, that voted against it, that are now involved in it, that said it's the best thing that's ever happened. So it just depends on who you talk to, what success they've had. But as my job and my staff's job and our executive committee's position is, we have to look at the greater good for all the association and all the schools, regardless of whether you play football or don't play football, or whether you're select or non-select. And I think that's what it's going to boil down to when it comes to time to make those decisions. But surprised with some, sure. Coaches overwhelmingly have responded to us, which is good. So I think it's just a matter of going through that, and then once we get what's a good sampling of student athletes? We don't know what that number would look like. You and I both have conversation before, on camera, off camera. A lot of the students that are involved now were in 4th and 5th grade, and they've inherited the paradigm of a split. So I think we're going to take all that into consideration. It's going to be a great September meeting with the executive committee. I'm looking forward to the dialogue, and I think that when it's all said and done, as we work our way not only through the end of August, where the proposals are this year's as the deadline for, to get to the January convention of whatever that looks like. I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I truly believe at this point it's our job to maybe wake up the association, shake up whatever that means, and then shape it. And I think that that's kind of where we are at the point where now we got to make some decisions that are going to affect the association not only for 2019, 2020, but beyond.
Safe to say you'd like to see everybody remain together down the road.
It would be nice to do that, yes, sir, because more people than not have told me that they would like to participate for a state championship and the best playing the best, whatever that means in any of our sports. Because more people than one have asked me, why is it okay to be split in football, boys and girls basketball, baseball, and softball? Why aren't we split in everything? If it's such a good thing, or if it's not such a good thing, why are the other sports not split in these? So it's always that argument, the chicken or the egg. And I think in this case, it's a positive movement for us to have good dialogue. And I think, Ken, we really haven't been able to have that. And I truly believe now that with the change in coaches and the change in school administrations and the change in superintendencies and the change of all the stuff that's going on in our state, there's a lot of change. And I think that by getting, at least we'll know we've had a good conversation about the topics that everybody's been talking about, addressing those white elephants in the room. And then at that point, we'll know where we need to go after the January convention.
Yeah, finally, of course, the January convention is D-Day, I like to call it, because that's pretty much where everything's going to be decided, although we probably will know before then pretty much where this is going. With that in mind, the relationship with the All-State Sugar Bowl, you value it greatly, you understand their significance, and the fact that they want to be part of this, but only if it's one entity and united. What is that relationship like right now? What have you been talking to them about, and how do you suspect that relationship is going to be here in a matter of 4 months or so?
Well, first of all, the partnership we've had with the All-State Sugar Bowl is unique, and it's one of a kind nationally, and we really cherish what we've had with them. We couldn't do some of the things that we do without them, number one, and they've been a great partner. They have concerns, which I don't blame them. The optics of what's going on, not just recently, but overall with the split, they've been very reasonable with that throughout the last 5 to 6 years. And I think that this is something when it comes down to it, we need to sit down and discuss and hash out philosophically the direction that they want to go and what we need to do. And I truly believe that they're watching what we do very carefully. And I would hate like heck to lose that partnership with them over stuff that we possibly could control. And if it comes down to that, then I truly believe that there's no other sponsor we've had that has been more valuable, at least in the short time that I've been here, going on 5 years now. But in the grand scheme of things, they're an incredible partner, great people. They're in the business for all kids, regardless of where you come from. And I could not ask for a better partnership, and I would love nothing more to renew and extend our contract and move forward with them and make them proud of being part of us, and vice versa, that we're proud to be still with their partnership with the Sugar Bowl. And I'll say Sugar Bowl, they're incredible.
Keep sawing wood. Appreciate the visit.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.